Welcome back to What's Cooking Today, the nation's food, wine, restaurant, and travel program. Michael Horn along with Paul Stern. And Paul, we're going to be talking here to Aaron Barlow, who has written a book here on Quentin Tarantino, Life at the Extremes. Aaron Barlow, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you.
So let's talk about Quentin Tarantino. I mean, this guy is sort of the word violence comes to mind. I mean, his movies somewhat are violent to the extremes. He's won many awards. Pulp Fiction, of course, in there. I think Jack Roberts mentioned Inglourious Bastards more recently here. What's your fascination with Quentin Tarantino, Aaron Barlow?
Well, I think that what I like is that the more you look at his films, the more you find there is to see. A lot of movies, you look at them a second time and you go, I've seen it. His movies, you look at it a second time and say, I didn't notice that. Or, oh, that's different from what I remember. And they keep intriguing one.
All right, I buy that. Okay, I'll buy that, because sometimes you watch a film again and it's like, okay, here's again, recite the, it's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You're going through all the motions. But with Quentin's films, yeah, they're different. Sometimes, though, if you, and I'm kind of liking the action-adventure stuff, and violence doesn't seem to bother me. Sometimes they're like a little too extreme in violence. Does he do that for a reason? What's the violence used for in his films?
Well, it depends on the film. He does things differently each time. And if you look at a film like Jackie Brown, there's actually very little violence.
Right.
And or even Pulp Fiction, Roger Ebert went through it carefully and found that there's comparatively little violence there, even though we remember it as a violent film. And then he'll go over the top, as he does in Kill Bill 1, where the House of Blue Leaves scene is about as bloody as you're going to find anywhere, but it's so over the top that it doesn't even seem like violence. It seems like dance.
What's
so it's entire spectrum of uses of violence.
What goes, I mean, did you interview him for this book? The book is called Quentin Tarantino, Life at the Extremes. We're talking to Aaron Barlow, the author. Did you talk to him to figure out what makes the guy tick? What's he looking to do? Because you're right, the films, you go back, if you watched his films 2 or 3 more times, you'd understand the picture even more. What goes on in his brain?
I tried to stay away a little bit from him. I didn't interview him on purpose or try to get in touch with him because he's such an outsized personality. I was a little worried that I might get too caught up in him rather than his movies, and I wanted to focus on the movies, not the personality. So I'm really not good at saying what makes him tick, more just what makes his movies work.
But you might have, this is the deal, you might have nailed it right here by saying caught up in him. When I see one of his films, a Quentin Tarantino film, you get caught up in the film, and I'm wondering, like, the actors, it seems they get caught up into it. I mean, he tends to use sometimes the same actors and actresses, like of course, in the sequels, like in Pulp Fiction or Kill Bill or something, and it seems like there almost gets this incredible bond between the director and the actor. Is that the case?
I think you got it right there. He's an incredibly skillful coordinator of people, and he knows how to lead. He knows how to develop enthusiasm in those he's working with. He lets their talents come through and his own talent. And actors love that. So does anybody else who's working on movies.
I'm sorry, Paul, I'm jumping real quick. There's one more thought on this, and that's he almost, and I mean this in a pleasant way here, please, he almost could be like a mass murderer or not a serial killer, but a mass murderer, Jim Jones kind of guy, because you think people would drink the Kool-Aid watching, doing the films for him. He sort of melds the personality to him. You say actors like that?
Oh, yeah, because he also allows them to express what they are and what they're bringing to the film. I understand what you're saying about him almost being a cult-type leader.
Yeah.
But he, rather than melding everybody to his vision, he looks at their vision and incorporates that into what he's doing. He doesn't subsume it, but he features them in a way.
And doing your research, did you learn anything about Quentin Tarantino that perhaps might have been unexpected to, let's say, the general public, about his personality or some of the what might people perceive to be the Quentin Tarantino that we know, as opposed to the person who he really is?
Not really. Again, I stayed a little bit away from that because he is such a massive figure in his own right, and does so many things beyond just directing movies. I wanted to focus pretty much on that aspect of who he is.
What do you say to people that say, like in his movies, he takes them right to the edge of, taste maybe and violence and all that? Some people really are opposed to his films.
Yeah, including my wife.
That's what I'm saying. It got close to home for you, Aaron Barlow.
Oh, yeah. It does take us to extremes, and there are a lot of things, though, that we like to watch and don't like to watch, even in our lives. Rubbernecking when there's a traffic accident or something like that. We can't help ourselves. We want to see it. All these things are a part of our lives, and we are conflicted by them and by violence. We are attracted and repelled at the same time. And he plays with that, most certainly, in his movies. And that does make us often very uncomfortable.
How much does he use the shock quality? Because it seems like there's that pattern in the films, but yet the shock kind of grabs you sometimes. Something you don't expect, and you go like, wow.
Yeah, he's an expert at that. Even in his first film, Reservoir Dogs, the way he sets up the suspense in the ear-cutting scene, and especially after the ear is cut off, you don't know what Michael Madsen's character is going to do when he gets the can of gasoline, pours it over the policeman, and even lights his lighter. You don't know if we're going to be watching this guy go up in flames or not.
The book is called Quentin Tarantino, Life of the Extremes. We're talking to Aaron Barlow. It's almost like you get uncomfortable watching his films, don't you?
Yes, you do, and he wants that. He wants you to be unsure where it's going to go and what's going to happen.
Out of his entire body of work, and obviously, Aaron Barlow, you've watched all his films, or probably almost all his films, which film sticks out as being different than the rest?
Well, I still really like Reservoir Dogs the best, I suppose. It was the most surprising, as we'd never heard of Quentin Tarantino when it came out, and I think it holds up quite well.
What if he came out with like a chick flick? Would that really get you going?
Well, he likes to play with genres, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't take a genre like that and then start with it and then move it into something that's completely his own.
That's what I'm thinking. It could be crazy. He and Oliver Stone are two of the directors, I think, that definitely have a stamp on their films. Where can we find the book, Aaron Barlow? It's Quentin Tarantino, Life at the Extremes.
It can be found most easily at Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble at BN.com.
Good. Are you doing other books as well and studying other people?
Working on a book on blogging. This will be my third book on that right now.
All right, I'll have to have you back to talk about that. Thank you for being with us. Quentin Tarantino, blogging on the blogging there. Not logging, blogging.
That's right.
Get the wax out of my ears.
Quentin Tarantino, Life at the Extremes. Aaron Barlow's the author. Get it at Amazon.com. We'll be back. What's cooking today?
Homeowners, how